Hey YouTube, it's Jaden. I'm currently in a bunch of nature right now, and there's like this barn for some reason in Connecticut, in the suburbs. I don't know why. I'm trying to show you more of it. It's like a barn. I don't know why. I think it's a barn. It's either a barn or some sort of house. If it's a house, I'm on somebody's property, but I don't know. But either way, um, I've been feeling good these last couple days because um, people have been checking up on me, and I think that's pretty nice. Um, it's very nice when it's people that don't usually check up on you. You know what I mean? Um, like you expect your family to check up on you, right? And I don't expect my friends to check up on me, if I'm being honest, because the way that I kind of set myself up with my friends, like I don't go out of my friend I don't excuse me I don't go out of my way to tell my friends like, oh hey, my birthday is like on this date, etc., etc. I don't really do all of that. I don't know why. I just don't. Well, I do know why. It's really because it's I like to have some sense of independence, from my friends, because unfortunately, you know what it comes from? It comes from the fact that I'm used to moving a lot, and I was never able to maintain like a long friendship. So I was like, I don't know. I was used to I'm sorry. I'm like picking at this scab. Um yeah, I'm used to like not maintaining like a super long friendship. So that's why I kind of like maintain some sort of independence from my friends. I know I just brought up that one example, but there's plenty of examples. Like, if I'm being honest, I know I was like that whole sophomore year, I was living with all three of them. Well, not all three of them, but I was living with three of my friends. But if I'm being honest, I did not. It's not that I didn't enjoy it. It was like that whole time though, I was thinking, like, dang, I really could be, living in a single room this whole time. Not, and again, it's not because I don't like them. It's just like, I don't know, the whole thought of independence. I don't know, for some reason I say that, but it's like independence from like friends specifically, even like, but like if I look at it from the sense of like all my mother's kids, like I'm like the most dependent one. you know but that's not the point of this video. I don't know why I'm just like outing myself. Either way, um yeah, I'm making this video because, like I said, I like being checked up on. I was checked up on by someone that I wouldn't have expected. um I don't really post on Instagram that much, because I'm not gonna lie, and I'm not saying it because I'm like down on myself or whatever. It's just, I don't know. It's like I look at things like very mathematically, and I don't know. I don't necessarily find myself like conventionally attractive. Uh, I don't. I'm not saying that to like because I'm very confident. Don't get me wrong. I'm very confident with who I am. I just like, in terms of like conventional attractiveness, I don't necessarily find myself that way. Which I know a lot of other people feel the same way. So it's not even like, oh, I'm just like, I'm not throwing a pity party. But either way, which is why I don't post a lot on Instagram. That's what I'm trying to get at. But either way, I did. I posted something on Instagram. I posted a picture on Instagram. I do it like every, I don't know, 3 months or whatever. And one of my coworkers, he checked up on me. He sent a comment, and then he checked up on me afterwards, and I felt pretty good after that, because he's a coworker, but granted, he is my favorite coworker, right? Like, I love working with him specifically. And I say that because he reminds me a lot of like my brothers. Even though I think he's older than all my brothers, right? My oldest brother is 24. My youngest sister's 20. No, my oldest brother is 23. Yeah. He turns 24 actually next month. That's crazy. But either way, yeah, so what am I getting at? Oh yeah. So my coworker, right? He reminds me a lot of like my brothers. And I don't know, it's really cool because he even says that I'm like his favorite coworker too. And I was like, oh, that's pretty dope. I've only been like, working there for about, I don't know, 7 months now. It's like we haven't gotten like that close, but it's like close enough to where like, I don't know, we've talked about pretty deep things. And it's like, as men don't really talk about super deep things. Like, men get close off the simplest things, but like once, I'm sorry, there's a bug on my, sorry, there's a bug on my hand. But men don't get close off the deep things, right? Men get close off the simple things, right? So like we were watching, like at the time, right? I started working there during the football season, right? Because I work at a deli shop, and people love like getting hoagies during football season. I don't know why they don't like getting hoagies off the basketball season. I don't get the correlation between like hoagies and football, but either way, I started working there during the hoagie season, the football season, and we were talking about like our favorite teams. I'm a Steelers fan. He's a Saints fan. We started arguing, but then we ended up we started getting cool off it, and after time started going past or whatever, we started getting like really cool, and we started playing like video games with each other, even though he's like 25 or something like that. And I was like, oh, this man is actually like dope, and I was like, wow, he's actually like really cool. And he is brothers with the manager, right? And the manager is really cool too, so it was like, wow, like their family is like really dope. And funny enough, well, it's not funny, but it kind of is funny, like they're really like from the hood, it's so funny. Like, oh dang, I only got 10% left on this phone. They're like really from the hood. Like, they know how to code switch better than anybody I know. Like, when they're talking to me, they'll talk like they're really from Chester, because they're from Chester, but then once like the white people come in to get their sandwiches, they'll switch it up like that. And I'm like, wow, that's insane. I've never seen anyone do it like that. Like me, I'm like intermediate, like I talk this way with anybody, I learned to do it. Well, I didn't learn to do it. I guess the thing is that I never really had like, I never really had the, I don't want to say I never really had like an, I never really spoken like Ebonics or whatever, but it's like, I don't know, now I talk this way with anybody, like, it's not really, I feel like it's in a mix of both, and nobody really cares, which I appreciate, but either way, yeah, so they code switch like that, and it's crazy. But either way, I appreciate that he checked up on me, and made me feel good about myself. But it made me think as well. Like, I'm sorry, oops, sorry about that. It made me think, like, like they're really from Chester, but they could like switch it up like that, and it made me think, like, where am I from? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm not saying I can't code switch. It's not even like a thing where it's like, oh, you should be able to do this or whatever. But it's like, unfortunately, out of like my mother's kids, like, I happen to spend most of my life in a white neighborhood. Not most, but like half of my life in a white neighborhood, and I feel like that played a huge part in my life. It really did, because like, it's not a good thing. Like, culture is really defined, I don't think it's defined by family. I think culture is defined by what you're surrounded by, you know? And when we lived in Philly, things were fine. Things were perfect. Right? When we lived in Rahway, things were fine. And then when we lived in Norristown, things were fine, you know? Like, the people that lived there, they all, some of them looked like me, right? Like Rahway, I feel like they were white. I don't know. I don't really remember Rahway like that. But Norristown, a lot of them looked like me. Philly, a lot of them looked like me. But then when we moved to Plymouth Meeting, it was like all white people. And that was a scary feeling, because I was like, that was when I started genuinely feeling scared about, like, am I gonna like be accepted or not, you know? And I think that's a very scary feeling for anybody, whether you're black or not, you know? And again, I think that's where culture is derived from. You know, it's not derived by what you learn with your family, because again, that's like, you know, that's how you like, you know, so I was I heard like there's some of these like Asian people that live in like Jamaica or in like some Caribbean countries, and they speak like pure, whatever the language I don't know, whatever the dialect is in I was gonna say Caribbean. You can tell I'm I'm straight American. Yo, Caribbean is crazy. But you can like they speak the pure dialect of like whatever is the dialect in Jamaica or Haiti. I think it's Creole. Yeah, like they can speak like Creole, like pure Creole. It's like, but you're born Asian, you know? And it's like, well, that's the culture there. Like, you're not, culture isn't defined by who you are. It's, again, it's defined by your environment. And my environment, since I was like 8 years old, was surrounded by white Jewish people. And I think that's a scary feeling, because then you lose sight of who you are as a black man. And I remember I was having this conversation with my mom, and she, I mean, I'm not gonna say this to like slight my mom, but like she said it, I guess her point of view was that like I never fully understood, I never fully understood my culture because I was so young, that it was almost like she was saying, since we moved out of Norristown at 8, you know, since I was 8 years old, it was like I never had enough time to fully build up my culture anyways. And it was like, that's not the point. Culture, that's not the way that culture, it's not the way that culture goes, you know? Like, culture isn't a discrete thing. It's not like either you have it or you don't. It's, you learn it throughout time, you know? Kind of like when you go up steps, you're on one step or you're on another. But culture is like a ramp. Like you're like casually going up, you know what I mean? It's very indiscreet, I guess. And I guess that was the thing that I was getting at. Like I was continuously like learning, I guess, like who I was. But then once we moved to Plymouth Meeting, it was a full stop. And then I had to relearn it, you know? And that was what this whole experience with my HBCU is. Like I'm relearning it, you know? And I think that's what dang, that's crazy. Like, this is actually not what I wanted to make this video on, but this is actually, like, I'm really preaching. I feel like. But either way, that's why I actually really love, like, this HBCU. It's not really for the sake of it being an HBCU. It's for the sake of me relearning myself, you know? Because I never got to fully acknowledge who I was, you know? My phone's about to die soon too. Hold on. Yeah, it's 7%. Hold on, I'm sorry. But yeah, like when I was in Plymouth Meeting, I lost touch with myself, like completely. Around like 5th and 6th grade, like I became, unfortunately, like people understand when you say like you're black but you're not black, and that's who I was. But it's not that I wasn't black. I hate when people say that, because I'm still black. It's just I lost touch with my culture, you know? And, you know, when white people are telling you that you aren't black, that is the most demeaning thing in the world. Like, it really is. because it's like, who are you to tell me that? You know what I mean? But it's not even a but. That's not what I'm trying to say. It was like white people were telling me that I wasn't black, and unfortunately, I couldn't have any rebuttal to that because it was like, well, dang, what does it mean to be black? I don't know. You know, I don't know anymore. You know, I'm saying this with a smile, but like I wasn't smiling back then. But dang, I'm really preaching. But either way, you know, I think that's the beauty of an HBCU. If you were raised in a white community for a huge point in time, a huge point in your life rather. Yeah, and I mean, I think this was like a huge factor of like, I keep saying like, wisdom is like, you have to go through it to fully understand it, and I think this was like that for me. This was like the full circle for me. Like I guess I didn't understand what culture was up until the HBCU experience, you know, because I feel like if I would have stayed in Philly, if I would have stayed in Norristown, and then I would have went to an HBCU, I think that wouldn't have been the case. I wouldn't have went to an HBCU if I would have stayed in Norristown or in Philly. I don't think that would have been the case. I don't know. It's a bunch of hypotheticals. And again, that wasn't even the point of this video, but I don't know. I feel like I was really preaching. Yeah, that's all I got. So I'm gonna go back in before my phone dies. So yeah, I'm gonna go swing this stick around somewhere. All right.